Oh, yeah. You know what that means.
Best song I've ever written. Ever. No, yeah. Hi, everybody.
It means we're watching the motherfucking Suicide Squad today.
That is what it means, indeed.
Anyway, hello, welcome to another Vertigo Voices.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Colby.
And you first, excuse me.
And yeah, we're watching fucking Suicide Squad. That's the one bad thing about the new Suicide Squad looking so fucking good, is the fact that it's related to this piece of shit movie.
It is kind of like, I don't know, I just feel like the new one is, I don't want to say an apology because that's too fanboyish and that's too much. It just feels like, you know, maybe it's the cinematic equivalent of like, yeah, that last time, I'm sorry, I got really drunk and puked in your potted plant.
It's a course correction.
It is.
It's a really obvious course correction, and I don't know. Whatever. Let's get started on this because, fuck, we're gonna have to watch this movie. All right, so we're watching Suicide Squad. This is Blu-ray. So there's actually 2 cuts of this movie that are available. There's actually like 1 million cuts in the world, but there's 2 that are available. So we're just gonna watch the theatrical cut because I don't want to have to see one more fucking second of this movie than there already is. So I've watched the extended cut, and it doesn't change anything. So, all right, we're going to watch the theatrical cut, get the Blu-ray in, and we're going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play! And anti-piracy warning.
So how much longer is the extended cut?
It's like 2 or 3 minutes. God. I think there's one... There's probably a few little things here and there that are different, but the big thing is that there's an extra scene of the Joker and Harley in their past. Yeah. It shows him being like, oh, you want to fucking hang out with me? And she's like, no. And like they're driving, and then I can't remember if she is chasing him on a motorcycle or if she's just in the car with him. And they're like in the street having this argument, and this like big truck pulls up, and this truck driver's like, you're in the fucking road. And Harley pulls out Joker's gun and shoots the trucker to show, like, I'm with you now. It's just fucking... It's the same shit. It's already reiterated in the movie.
All right, then. Nothing special to this already wondrous cinematic feat.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It just had rock music playing. I fucking forgot about the soundtrack to this movie. When I saw it in theaters, I remember telling my friend after seeing it that the soundtrack felt like I was watching a movie and there was somebody sitting behind me just flipping through a radio dial.
That's an excellent description.
Because there's zero connection to the music and what's on screen, and it's literally just like, fuck it, this song's cool, throw that one in here. This one, there's a song about we're introducing Harley, so here's a song like the, you don't own me, because she's an independent person.
Sure.
So fucking stupid.
Why not? And that's a really good descriptor. I think someone counted and they said there's something like, 10 to 20 songs within the first 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. I don't know if that's true, but I would not be surprised if it was.
So one thing that I have to address is, how is this a Vertigo movie?
Please
tell us. Do you know how?
No.
So the movie in general, actually, the sequel is going to have more of a direct connection to Vertigo, which we'll talk about next week. But this movie, the only real connection is that the Suicide Squad in the comics had 2 Vertigo characters on the team. Actually, 3 if you count Grant Morrison, because Grant Morrison was on the Suicide Squad.
We'll count him, yeah.
But so the original Suicide Squad had, or not the original, but in the 80s in the comics, both Shade the Changing Man and Black Orchid were on the Suicide Squad.
Were they really?
Yep.
All right then.
Shade the Changing Man is really interesting in his, his usage in the book, because he was in there, and it's like the old style version of the character from like the 70s. And he was introduced in that book right around the time that Peter Milligan was like revamping him for Vertigo. Okay. And so there's 2 completely different takes on that character in comic books around the same time.
All right then. There's our tenuous connection.
Whatever, this is totally a Vertigo movie.
Absolutely.
So, remember when we were talking about Justice League and we were arguing about the sexualization of Wonder Woman?
Yes, I do.
Well, look at this movie. Look at Harley Quinn was just introduced fucking licking a pole after doing like some slutty Cirque du Soleil.
Because, that's what Hannibal Lecter would do in his cell in his downtime.
Exactly. So for all the lip service that David Ayer gives her as like a empowered, interesting character, like she's literally just there to show off her ass. Right.
And which is something I've probably mentioned this before, but I'm going to do it again because it bears repeating. I hate in movies when when the filmmaker feels the need to remind us that a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. Yeah. Like, with the gratuity and whatnot, it's like, it's Margot Robbie. We get it. She's hot. She's gorgeous, Her character serves no purpose here, but...
Exactly. None of the Suicide Squad serve any purpose. Fuck.
No. Not in this world.
So this whole thing about Remember Superman, all this is actually a shot from Batman vs. Superman. This is the beginning of the kind of rewriting of Superman's history in the DCEU. Movie to movie, how he is remembered or treated changes dramatically. Because in this, it's like, remember what he did. Like, he fucking destroyed a city.
Right. Well, what did he do?
Yeah. He fucking destroyed a city, and then he died killing some big monster that Wonder Woman could have easily killed. Look at that actor right there. Ted Whittle? I can't remember what his last name is. He has a deeper connection to the Suicide Squad than just this movie.
Oh, yes?
He played Rick Flag of the Suicide Squad on Smallville.
Oh.
Yeah. So because you see him in the trailer. Do you recognize the guy on the left?
Is that David Harbour?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that the first 2 times I saw this movie.
But anyway, when they showed him, Ted Whittle, whatever, in the trailers, I was like, fuck, that's the original Rick Flag! I'm the comic book movie nerd that knows every actor who's played every fucking role.
You do. It's very handy in cases like this.
Oh, I hate this. So that shot right there of Deadshot, that's actually a cover from Secret Six.
Oh, yeah?
But you can't really tell because it's so fucking dark.
It is. It is. Like, I think that's supposed to be him tossing a bullet up in the air, but you can't even see
No, it's raining bullets.
It's raining bullets. Okay.
Yeah. It's raining bullet. And that's that's a cover of The Secret Six, which is one of the best comic book series ever written. And there's just an excellent cover of Deadshot. Literally that same image right there.
Oh, there you go.
It's raining bullets. He's got his hand out, machine gun, and it's just flipped for the movie.
Oh, but you can see it there.
Yeah, yes, because it's done by a fucking artist
right.
who knows how to make art.
Now, there was some talk about how a lot of the characters got sidetracked in their... Well, I shouldn't say sidetracked. They just got, I guess, less of an intro... Oh, man, there's not enough coffee and Xanax in the world right now. Less of an intro than Deadshot because Will Smith wanted more screen time? Is that true?
I don't think that's true. I think this is just a result of shitty editing. I think everyone probably had one of these moments originally, and then they have to trim it down. So, right there, you see that I am on his neck? Mm-hmm. He has a fucking, text on his neck that says, I am the light, I think.
Yeah.
And, his guns have text on it. That's one of the things I fucking hate about just the concept and the design of this movie. Everyone has writing on them. And it just looks fucking dumb. It's a weird character choice that everyone's making.
Right.
And that's not how people dress. That's not how if you get 7 random people in a room, they're not all going to have the same font on their fucking costumes and the same style of clothing. It feels weird.
Well, it's just like you said. It's not. It takes you out of any reality or grounding that this movie might have. It's really disingenuous.
Also, right here, so it's reasserted later that Deadshot never misses. I think they said it already, but later in the movie when he's on the gun range, they bring it up again that he never misses. He's fucking always shooting stuff and not gonna fucking miss. Yeah, but he misses right here in just a sec. His introductory backstory scene, he fucking misses. But anyway, I think Deadshot probably should have been the POV character more than splitting it between him and Harley and...
Oh boy,
whoever else. So I think all this backstory is useful for him. Hey, there's David Harbour. Nobody knows he was in this.
I didn't until just now. I was like, wait a minute.
But yeah, right here when Batman swoops down, he like pulls a gun on him and misses. It's over, dude. Shot. Hey, there's Ben Affleck. Damn.
Right. It's like, I don't want to do this in front of your daughter, but I'm going to.
Oh, he
anyway.
shot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this whole thing with that's an interesting, like throw in Batman to show him, like to show that he's in this world. But the way it's done, like just the way he's introduced is so fucking weird. He kind of like floats down in the background. It's a version of Batman that's only had one appearance before this, only a few months before. Mm-hmm. And so like he's not that established a Batman.
No.
And the way he's used in this movie is really weird and like incongruous with kind of how you would expect that character to be used. I understand the idea of using him as like just the fucking of like vigilante in the shadows. I think it's a good idea. It's just done so poorly in this, like everything.
Yeah.
And so recently, actually, like after we decided to do this, David Ayer, the director, just had like a meltdown on Twitter about this movie, like just a couple days ago.
Oh no!
Because a reviewer said that the new Suicide Squad is light years better than this fucking mess, basically. And so David Ayer like quote tweeted that, which like, come on, man, grow some thick skin. I mean, it's a fucking critic. That's what they do.
Yeah, right.
And I get that he's had to endure 4 years of, hey, this movie's shitty, but guess what? It's a shitty movie.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Deal with it. So he responded with this giant wall of text explaining his whole life story. Like, I grew up in the ghetto, I was a fucking gangbanger, I was on PCP, I went into the Navy, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, the last paragraph is like, I made a shitty movie because the studio took it from me. This isn't my movie. My cut was better, blah, blah, blah. And this is the last I'm going to talk about it. The end. And so it's like, I get, like, I'm not taking anything away from anything that you said there. Like, I believe your story, and I understand that your life has been a struggle and that you've made the most of it, and that you've, built yourself up from nothing, but that doesn't change the fact that Joker has damage tattooed across his forehead.
Right.
Like, this movie is flawed on the most basic of levels. It doesn't matter how many times you edit it or re-edit it. You're still going to have Jared Leto as the Joker with a fucking face tattoo, and this fucking scene with Tattooed Man, kind of. Is this even supposed to be Tattooed Man? I don't know. His name's Monster T in the credits.
Monster T, because Mr. T was taken.
So he's played by Common, who was originally cast to play Green Lantern in George Miller's Justice League movie.
Really?
So when he was cast in this, they were like, oh, I wonder who Common's going to play. Oh, I wonder if it's going to be Green Lantern, blah, blah, blah. And then some set pics of him came out, and they were like, oh, maybe he's Tattooed Man, because he's got tattoos all over the place, like everyone in this fucking movie. Mm-hmm. and then the studio was like, oh, we're not saying who he's playing. And then it turned out that the reason they weren't saying is because he's not playing anyone important. It's just some fucking guy. That dude, Joker's little henchman with the beard, who looks like he's in a completely different movie, is actually a character from the comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's this character named Johnny Frost, who was in Brian Azzarello's Joker series. It was a hardcover book. Totally different character. And in this, he doesn't really do anything and just dies incidentally.
Fodder.
Yeah. But, going back to Common, when it was announced, Common has a role, so does Ike Barinholtz, and so does Scott Eastwood. But they were like, we're not saying who any of them play. And everyone, like, there was all this fucking speculation. And in the end, it was literally just they're not playing anyone important. There's this guy, Common as Monster T. There's Ike Barinholtz as Griggs the guard, who just fucking disappears in the movie. Right. They set him up and then disappears. And then there's, what's his name? Scott Eastwood as, like, military guy. I think he has, like, a line, maybe.
Military guy.
Yeah, he actually has a name. I think it's QT or T, something like that. But you wouldn't know it because he doesn't have any dialogue.
Well, yeah. So it all amounts to nothing.
Oh, there's another. We played Heathens earlier, which is a piece of shit song. There's another piece of shit song from this movie called Purple Lamborghini.
Oh, I remember.
I think it's by Rick Ross or whatever.
Yep.
The funny thing is that car is not a Lamborghini, Joker's car, and it's also not technically purple.
No, totally not. Totally not. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, Jared Leto was in that music video too.
Oh, that's right. So he's played the Joker 3 times thanks to the Snyder cut.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh man, that means we'll have covered all of his theatrical Joker appearances between this and the fucking Justice League. What a man! I feel like I need a trophy for that. He's a Vertigo Voices all-star.
Right. Okay. We should send him one in the mail.
Yeah.
With a dead rat.
Use condoms and all that shit. God, what a fucking freak.
No kidding. No kidding. Well, and like we talked about before, I thought I liked him in Dallas Buyers Club, but you're right, it's just Jared Leto in a dress. And I think the first thing that I remember him having any impact in, I think the first thing I saw him in was Fight Club,
Yeah,
but then
me
I
too.
remember Requiem for a Dream, which he's good in that.
I saw Fight Club first, but yeah.
But no, he's good in that. I think he does a good job, but ever since then...
Jesus, we're still introducing characters.
We are. You are.
Oh, here's the joke. Pink unicorns. God, I fucking hate this movie.
Oh, dear. No, but, yeah, anyway, we were still acutely aware that Jared Leto is acting as Jared Leto in pretty much everything he's in.
Yeah.
And, this guy.
Jai Courtney.
Yeah.
I actually really like him as Captain Boomerang.
He does good with what he has here.
I mean, he's actually Australian.
That is true.
And it was the Flash, the fucking... He actually did... Oh, we didn't really see him run. But I just remember in Justice League, he runs like a fucking idiot. He runs like somebody who's never run in their life.
Oh, dear. And here's an actress who I love, and I think is a great choice to play Amanda Waller, but she's horribly misused. I'm glad that they brought her back, at least.
I think she does good enough in this. I can't fault her performance. It's just, like everything, Waller's just kind of a mess in this.
Oh, such a mess.
That was originally supposed to be King Shark, but they didn't have the budget to make us see. Hey, there's David Ayer. He's that guard right there.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So he definitely filmed this scene.
Sorry, David.
Now, he filmed everything. It was just kind of re-edited. But as we were talking about earlier with the various cuts of this, so he's talked lately about how much he doesn't like the studio cut and blah, blah, blah. But his original cut was probably like 3.5 hours long, which is just like, that's not, sorry, man, you're going to have to fucking cut that. It's not realistic.
Right.
And the way it was described is that he only had a couple weeks to write the script. So he kind of hammered out a script, and it sounded like his idea was just to film and kind of create the movie as he was filming. So like, all right, well then it's going to be a failure no matter what. Like that's not how you make a good movie.
No.
I mean, there could be genius that arrives from that, but the odds are stacked against you immediately.
Right.
So as much as fanboys are now bitching about release the Ayer cut and blah blah blah, I don't think there was ever going to be a good movie in this. It's like Josh Trank's Fantastic Four.
Right.
He's spent the last few years whining about that, and I had a version of the movie that was pretty good. Like, I don't think there was ever a good version of that movie because you made a dark, weird, depressing story called Fantastic Four.
Pretty much, I agree. Well, and there's this idea too that's become very pervasive that there's more of this movie out there. It must mean that what's out there is good. Yeah. And it's like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, this is edited to shit and back, obviously. This movie is cut, it's probably one of the worst edited movies I've ever seen in my life. But at the same time, there's a difference between just the editing flow and then the overall editing of the entire movie. And this fails on both levels. And Ayer is responsible for one of those.
Right.
Like, Ayer is responsible for the fact that this movie doesn't work on largely. Like, just, again, for the concept. Right here, Waller is talking with these two people about, I'm going to put together this team, because what if Superman was a bad guy? We need a team that's strong enough to kill Superman. None of these people could fucking kill Superman.
Right.
Jesus Christ, you got a guy that throws boomerangs. Okay, there's Flag. There's a guy that shoots guns. So you got a guy that shoots guns. You've got a guy that shoots guns. You've got a guy that throws boomerangs. You've got a girl with a hammer. Sometimes it's a mallet. You got a guy that makes fire. You've got Enchantress, who's a teleporting witch. Which, I mean, still, you can still crack her neck and tear her heart out. Which is what they do. You take her heart out. And then, don't forget Slipknot. He can climb stuff. You've got a woman with a sword.
Who's named after her sword.
Yeah, exactly. You've got a crocodile man. None of them could take on a Superman-level threat. No. And the fact that what if Superman decided to fly down? It's funny that he was used so prominently in the trailer and nobody recognizes him.
Yeah.
That scene was in every trailer opened with that. What if Superman could fly down? Because this was like the same year as the first season of Stranger Things, I think.
Was it?
I think so. But he looks so different
He does.
between this and Stranger Things.
He does.
His character, Tolliver, is actually in the comics.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
What was it? And there is a comic where the Suicide Squad does kill Superman. For any fellow nerds out there who are listening and are like, well, actually, you guys, the Suicide Squad did. Okay, whatever. In the context of this movie, it makes absolutely no sense, like you said.
Yeah. And I mean, in the comics, they're a completely different beast because they've got a lot larger pool of villains to work with.
Absolutely.
So you could create a Suicide Squad in the comics that could take down a Superman-level threat.
Right.
You couldn't in this.
No.
put Metallo on the team. There, you're done.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I love how Slipknot's picture is in the lineup, but he hasn't even been addressed yet.
Right, you're like, who's that guy?
Yeah. That's fucking dumb.
Which leads me to, like, part of me is really sad because Adam Beach is an actor that's been around for a long time.
I like his effect, though. That's really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That part's cool. He's been around for a long time, and I think he's one of those actors that deserves a more prominent role. Like, more people should know his name. Yeah. So I'm sad that they, kill him immediately. In my defense, I didn't know who he was playing at first. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy for him because I'm like, dude, you got out of this quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Put him in a fucking Marvel movie. They'll use him right.
Please.
I actually just read that issue where Slipknot gets his arm blown off. In the comic, it's his arm, not his head. But it's the same context where, like, Boomerang kind of goads him into testing if that'll work.
Right.
Because in the comic, Boomerang's already been on a few missions, but he's never seen originally, they had bracelets, and they went to nanites later. But he'd never seen the explosive bracelets actually go off yet. So he's kind of like, I wonder if this is fucking bullshit or not. So he's like, hey, these aren't real. They just beep at you. And so in the first sign of trouble, Slipknot's like, well, I'm fucking out of here then. And he bolts, and then his arm blows off. And then it cuts to Boomerang. He's like, well, good to know.
A good bit of levity there.
That's one thing. So, like I mentioned, I really liked Boomerang in this. Well, I shouldn't say that. I like Jai Courtney as Boomerang, and I think of all the characters that have been translated in the movie, he's probably the most similar personality-wise. Because Boomerang's just a piece of shit. That's just his character type is like big talking piece of shit who will do whatever he can to save his own ass.
Right.
And so I'm actually a little worried about him in the next movie. I feel like he's gonna die. But the thing about Boomerang in the comics is he's like a squad member who's never died because he's such a self-centered piece of shit. He's always making sure his ass is covered.
He knows how to survive.
And just based on what I've seen from the new movie and the trailers and stuff, kind of putting the flow of the movie together in my mind, because I can't not do that, I feel like he's going to die.
I hope not, but we shall see. Yeah. Oh, wow. So, like you were saying before, what this should have been, this is not an original idea, but it still holds true. What this should have been is just like like drop the Suicide Squad off in the middle of the jungle and they're in charge of overturning a president or a dictator.
Yeah, political assassination, stealing government secrets, shit like that. I had a whole idea, like, way before this movie came out, because I've been obsessed with the Suicide Squad for ages. Way before this movie came out, there was an episode of Justice League Unlimited called Task Force X. And that episode, like, the Justice League are hardly in it. It's focused on Waller putting together the Suicide Squad, and with Rick Flag recruiting Deadshot, Boomerang, Clock King, Plastique, and maybe there's another. I can't remember. Whatever. He's putting together a team to sneak onto the to the JLA Watchtower to steal a weapon. And then it all goes bad. They end up having to shoot their way out. Plastique gets mauled. And it's a really fucking well done episode. And it's like a perfect version of the Suicide Squad. And it has one of the fucking funniest jokes I've ever seen on a show. So they're sneaking in, and they all have Deadshot has candy bars. These are like Lightspeed bars, which are from the show. And because they're sneaking onto the Justice League Watchtower as employees, like the support staff or whatever. So they're all wearing like Justice League uniforms, and he's got a little lunch pail with those on it. And when they sneak in, he opens it up, and it's actually like ceramic pieces to build a ceramic gun. And because they have to go through a checkpoint or whatever, a metal detector. And as he's building their gun, Plastique's like, or no, he says something like, God, it doesn't even feel like ceramic. And Plastique says something like, yeah, well, it's a good thing, made it through the security, or the metal detector, like, unlike Boomerang. And it cuts to Captain Boomerang, and he goes, hey, 75 cents is 75 cents. I'm supposed to throw away money?
Well done. I like that. Sounds like it has more charm than this movie.
Absolutely. Every version of the Suicide Squad has more charm than this movie. So they've actually been in two other movies. Well, there were two other animated movies. One is called Batman Assault on Arkham, and it's set in the Arkham universe of the video games, like Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, those games. And it's focused on the Suicide Squad breaking into Arkham to assassinate Riddler. And it's like all about duplicity, and they get screwed over, and blah, blah, blah. It's a really, really good take on the Suicide Squad. It's called Batman Assault on Arkham, only because they weren't marketable then. So Batman's in it, but he's used about the same as he is in this. He shows up a couple times to kick their ass, and that's about that. But they also are in another movie 2 years ago called Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. That one is actually an adaptation of a storyline from Secret Six, which is that comic is fucking awesome. It ties in with Suicide Squad quite a bit, because it focuses on Deadshot and kind of a new team of villains. But they turned it into the Suicide Squad for the movie, and that was actually a really, really good Suicide Squad movie. It's rated R, it's very bloody.
All right.
You see Deadshot just gun people down. God, he's so fucking weird. It's like he's like obsessed with guns, like to get him off.
Right. Yeah, it's not enough that he's just an amazing shot. Yeah. It has to be like almost a fetish thing.
Yeah.
This movie is like, it reminds me of, like when a very excited child is trying to tell you a story.
Yeah.
And
then, oh wait, no, I forgot to say that. But then, and this, and then.
Right. And then, her heart glows green, and they gotta rip it out. And yeah. And remember before, I forgot to tell you, that, Deadshot also has a daughter. Yeah. It's exactly that way. And no offense to David Ayer, especially after his tweet there, but like he does this in other movies. Like, I don't know if you've seen Bright.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, same thing. It's not as frenetic as Suicide Squad in terms of editing, but structurally, what's there is still confusing and makes no sense.
That's another thing. That movie is just flawed from conception.
Right.
I understand updating, the world or whatever with fucking fantasy stuff. Like, I get that, but that's been done way better in other things. And the way they do it, it's just like, here's today, but now there's a fucking centaur. Like, it doesn't actually feel like a fantasy world that has evolved today. Compare that to a movie like Onward that does that really well.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't dislike all of his stuff, but this is not his first. Yeah. It's not like when people who watch us should be like, oh my god, David Ayer is such an amazing filmmaker. He's an auteur.
I really like Fury, his World War II movie.
Good movie.
I thought the movie was fucking excellent.
Good movie.
And that came out just before Suicide Squad, and I was like, fuck yeah, this guy's gonna be great. And then I also really like Sabotage. Did you ever see that?
I have not.
So it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Joe Manganiello. There's other actors in it too. I can't remember, but it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's about this like SWAT team that end up doing like a heist. Okay. And it like that feels like the Suicide Squad. It's this team of like hard ass, badasses with their big guns, and they're gonna break in and steal. Like that's that's Suicide Squad. You could do that. So I remember when that movie came out, like definitely this guy is definitely the right guy for the job. But I don't know. What happened? The thing is, you can blame the studio all you want, which is the gut reaction. It's like, oh, the studio is just this soulless. Fuck! Look. Okay, David Ayer shot this scene. This is he filmed this. This happened. So fuck. Again, like it's the gut reaction to blame the studio for corrupting the vision or whatever. But I feel like this was just a piece of shit from the beginning.
Well, it's just
recut it all you want. It's still gonna be a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, it's just so incredibly on the nose, and there's nothing there to back that up. Like it's not that even that symbolism is a bad thing. It's not. It's just that does it feel like it's something that's taking you on a journey? And you get to spend time with these characters that are really interesting. What was
the purpose of that shot there? Him laying around all the knives.
Exactly. It's just misdirected energy. On that same note, let's talk about Baz Luhrmann real quick. Whether you
okay.
Well, in terms of like focus and editing, you don't have to like Baz Luhrmann's movies. But I would argue that, Romeo plus Juliet, Moulin Rouge, there's a purpose there.
Yeah.
And even though it's fast and it, comes all the time, that's not the...
Comes all the time.
I'm sorry.
Said the actress to the bishop.
Ay. Even though the pace is quick and it's ongoing, he still knows how to have character moments. Yeah. He still knows where to use that energy in a way that informs the story instead of like the second time when I went to the theater and watched this, because I watched it the first time and I reviewed it. And I have to admit, the first time I was like, meh, it's okay. Maybe I just didn't understand it. Maybe it's not my thing.
He's growling. Joker's growling.
Because that's what Joker does. No, but the second time I watched this in the theater, like, I can't remember how long into it, but a woman behind me said very, very loudly, "What is this movie about?" And none of us could answer her.
Question. Yeah. One thing, going back to the whole, multiple coats, whatever, there is a novelization of the movie written by Marv Wolfman, who's a comic book legend. And as the discussion heated up again about what Ayer's cut would have been like or whatever, I can't remember who said it. I can't remember if Ayer even said it or not, but it sounds like the novelization is more in line with his original cut. Okay. Because it was written well before the movie was finished. So I actually ordered it. I was hoping it would already be here, but it's going fucking slow. I found it on Amazon for like $3. And it's still in California. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really curious to read that to see what if there is any salvaging this story. Because if anyone could salvage it, it would be Marv Wolfman. He's a great comic book writer. He knows these characters. He's worked with DC a lot, and he's done a few adaptations. So he knows this world on both sides.
He might be able to bring some actual flow and sense to the story. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully.
So I will reserve any real judgment, although, I mean, come on, we know how it's going to end. I'll reserve any real judgment until I actually read that to see what the story is, how it fits. And this is fucking, the whole thing about her brother, so weirdly introduced. There's some random guy in Midway City. Why did she pick this guy?
Right.
Why is this in Midway City now? Is that where we've always been? I don't know. No, I guess we were in D.C. earlier. Washington, D.C.?
I thought we were in Louisiana.
That's where the prison is. But
Okay.
but Waller was in Washington. They showed her at the Pentagon.
Oh, that's right. Excuse me.
Is that in Washington, D.C.? I don't know. There was a shot of Washington, D.C. earlier, too.
That's true.
It's just weird how there's only title cards, like, occasionally. And they're poorly integrated as well. I fucking love that. They worship machines, so I'll build a machine that will destroy them all. That totally reminds me of Treehouse of Horror, The Simpsons. They did one episode with those aliens, Kodos and Kang, who they try to take over the Earth, and they're chased off by Moe carrying a board with a nail in it. And he's like, no, he's got a board with a nail in it. And they fly off and they're like, oh, we were defeated. And he's like, it's okay, dear brother. For someday the humans will create a board with a nail that's so large they will crush themselves. So every time I hear her say, we're going to build a machine that's so big.
That's the board with the nail.
And this is so fucking stupid. So Waller creates a Suicide Squad to stop, superhero villains. Whatever. Supervillain or superhero bad guys. Superpowered beings. Whatever. So the first thing she does is get a superpowered being on the team who then goes bad because she's being forced to work on the team. So now the squad has to stop her because Waller forced her to do this. So she literally created her own enemy.
Exactly.
And that's so if Waller had done nothing, the Suicide Squad wouldn't need to exist. Because Superman's dead.
Well, and it takes away any the intelligence of the character.
Yes, for sure. Waller in the comic books is 10 steps ahead of everyone. And to see her just fall down flat is so weird. Immediately, oh shit, they got the heart or the brother or whatever.
Oopsie. Yeah, basically.
It's like Katamari Damacy right there.
Ooh, oh my goodness.
You ever play that game?
I have not, but
it's just you have a big ball and you just collect stuff.
Oh.
Stuff adds to your ball and it gets bigger. You
Excellent.
roll it around town and pick up park benches and cars and whatever, and then it gets bigger. That's apparently Incubus's power here.
All right then. Yeah, it's then that's again they have these two incredibly powerful super beings who realistically would just wipe the Suicide Squad out. I'm sorry, I took too much Xanax and sniffed too much rubber cement before I watched this movie because I knew we had to watch this movie. Yeah. So what was that? I missed that.
I think it was a razor blade.
She coughed up from her mouth.
Yeah. I think it's to get out of her restraints. I don't think she actually uses it. I was just going to say something about Incubus, maybe. I don't fucking know. Yeah, this goddamn movie. It's tiring.
And it's really hard to make Will Smith charmless.
Yeah,
you have
for sure.
to work at that. I mean, he was probably him and Kenneth Branagh's Southern accent were probably the best things about Wild Wild West. But somehow they managed to make him really boring and dull in Suicide Squad.
I hate that, they fucking farm out their nanotech. It's ridiculous. The government is putting this together. If they're putting little trackers in somebody's neck with explosives, they just make their own. That's so fucking dumb.
I do know, yeah.
In the sequel, I think they changed that so it is whatever. Like, it's just administered on site. And the doctor that is putting them in their necks is actually played by John Ostrander, who's the creator of the Suicide Squad.
Perfect. Oh, here we go. Yes.
This is the last you see of Griggs there. It's implied that he's going to be murdered. But you never see him again. He doesn't even show up at the end when she's back in Bel Rev. And, what's his name? Joker breaks her out.
Right. Pointless. Like so many things in this movie.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. When they showed... Fiery guy. The fuck is it? El Diablo. When they showed him again, he... one of the things apparently that's different in Ayer's cut is that he doesn't die.
Oh.
So that means none of the main characters die in a movie called Suicide Squad. The only member of the team who dies is fucking Slipknot.
Like we discussed before. Folding ideas. Yeah, he said it perfectly. We don't care about him because we've been visually told that he doesn't matter.
Yeah. Here's another reason that I think this is flawed from the beginning. Why is Joker in this fucking movie? Like, this subplot isn't needed.
No.
And why do we keep cutting back from the crisis to seeing Joker try to break out Harley? That's a plot point that doesn't matter.
And it totally takes you out of what should be the big bad.
Here's one of the worst cuts in, like, cinema history, right here. It's used to disguise a plot point later. Like, there's no other way, just get it done.
And I know... Oh, go ahead.
Well, so right here, he says that. I think she says Enchantress. And then it cuts back here. Yeah, you know what? She left. She bolted. Yeah,
Say it again.
And then later, they show that scene again and show that, oh, they were actually down there with explosives and shit. And so, like, that recontextualizes why they were there, but in a really poor way. Because you spend the whole movie like, why was that cut so terribly? And then in the end, oh, that's why. They did it to disguise the fact that there's an explosive down there. Why do you need to disguise the fact that there's an explosive down there? Like, oh, because they need it later and they don't want you to know that it's there. I don't know. It's fucking dumb.
Right. It makes no sense. And it's not as vital, as important as it should be.
It doesn't matter if that is a surprise or not.
Right.
But it's treated like it is. It's such a weird design for Enchantress, too. I realize that the comic book look is really unadaptable because it's just goofy. She looks like a witch.
Yeah.
It looks like a stereotypical witch. God, that's weird. Oh, yeah, Blue Sky Beam, like every movie that came out this year.
Portal in the sky. That's how you know it's really dangerous.
Yeah. Man of Steel had one. This one had one. Did Batman vs. Superman have one? I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Fantastic Four had one. Yeah. I mean, Avengers had one a few years early.
Green Lantern had one.
Did it?
Yeah. When what's
Parallax?
Yeah.
He was a big old yellow cloud.
Yes, but he had to come down through like a hole in the sky. Because that's the only way that evil forces can get around.
I like how there was just a Midway City evacuation zone. Like, yeah, we can probably figure that out from context. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily need to show that.
No.
But,
well, and
it says all evacuees must report to me. It's so weird how some things are reiterated over and over. Oh, there's Scott Eastwood.
Oh, I missed him.
He was just credited as man.
Was that him?
Yeah, on the left.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the t-shirt, whatever.
Oh, there we go. Oh dear.
That's about as much as you see of him. He's just... And that's another thing about this stupid goddamn movie. The Squad is here with, like, the entire U.S. military. So, like, why are they here? Again, you've got a guy that can shoot good. You've got a girl with a bat. You've got a guy with boomerangs. A guy that can make fire. And a guy that's a crocodile. Like, surely the military, these thousands of soldiers here can pick up that slack. Like, surely they don't need them. The whole purpose of Task Force X is they're supposed to be like Black Ops.
Right.
Like, they're not here with a million other people. They drop in so no one knows.
Exactly.
They shouldn't be doing, like, big world-ending crises.
Well, and... Oh, there he is. Oh, you gotta punch somebody immediately.
I do like that.
Yeah, this is probably Jai Courtney's best role, which, isn't saying much.
In that way. She's playing Mahjong with Manana.
I was not.
Here's the best line in the movie. Here comes Slipknot, the man who can climb anything. Wonderful.
And there he is. That's his character.
Just the way that's introduced. Oh my God. It's like Patton Oswalt has a whole thing about rewriting movies. Like he used to be a script doctor. Mm-hmm. And he said, but he would get script doctoring for like Pixar movies that were already finished. Or like animated movies or whatever. And they're like, yeah, well... He's like, well, I would redo this scene, or I'd put the scene here, and add an extra line here. And they're like, no. This movie's already fucking in the can. It's just a piece of shit, and it's not funny. So we just need you to write funny dialogue that can be added by somebody shouting it off screen. And he's like, so, like, does that work? You can just show, like, depressing footage of, like, a little boy sitting at his birthday party, and he's wearing his little hat, and none of his other friends showed up, so he's just sitting there alone, staring at his cake, all sad, like a tear rolling down his face, and then have somebody off screen yell, I just fell into a big barrel of butterscotch.
Might work for this film.
So, like, his I don't know, that stand-up's like 15 years old when he talked about that. So every time I see this movie and hear that stupid goddamn line, I'm like, yeah, that Patton Oswalt, man, I feel it.
Yeah, that definitely pertains here. And what is that?
Yeah, licking his clothes, I don't there we go, there's my climbing gun.
You're right. Because we're going up the north face of the Eiger. Yeah, I imagine he'd be great in mountain climbing.
All their guns look like they're made by the same person.
Right. Like, they all go to one customized bad guy for...
Good thing he got that, fucking velvet hoodie. That's very, very useful when you're in a tactical situation.
Yeah, it does go well with his skin tone.
Yeah. Oh, there's the introduction of the unicorn.
Mm-hmm. Another joke, which will...
Here's a little thing that pisses me off, other than the hot pants. Why would... That shot right there. When you've got this, and then Justice League, where, maybe her ass is a little prevalent in one shot. Like, I mean, come on, man, look at this.
It is obvious. It is obvious. That scene was done for all of the 14-year-old boys.
And that's just one in many in this. Like, she's literally just there to be like a masturbation fodder. Just the way she holds herself, the way she's dressed, the way, like, why is she wearing pigtails? Why is she...
And high heels.
She just did her makeup, for fuck's sake. Why is she doing that?
I don't know. It's so strange.
And the weird baseball bat, again, with writing on it. Did you hear about that rotten tattoo she has on her jaw?
Yeah.
Have you heard about that in the sequel? Like in the new one?
No.
It's not there.
Oh, they took it off.
And apparently while they were doing like costume tests or whatever, James Gunn was looking over some concept art with her. And one of them had had her face already on it. And apparently she like offhandedly said like, I hate that fucking tattoo. And James Gunn's like, really? Like, I don't like it either. And he's like, let's just not use it. He's like, we can do that? He's like, I don't fucking care.
Absolutely. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Oh, there's Scott Eastwood again, just standing there.
Being Scott Eastwood. Oh, yeah.
I see everything. So, now it's... wait, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but they're going into Midway City to save someone. So really, they're not even going there to kill Enchantress or whatever. And then, we some kind of Suicide Squad. Fuck. I did miss fuck. I forgot about Katana. Jesus Christ. She just wanders in. Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up? You're late. And there's this weird flashback. Is this a flashback? I mean, it's implied that that's where she was.
Right. She was working. She was busy. Had things going on. Yeah. Well, and it's so dumb because, again, it's like there's so much telling and no showing. Like, she just shows up and we get, again, like this childlike dialogue about what a badass she is.
Criminals have no mercy. Like, yeah, why is she on the team? How do they know each other? Hey, yeah, this is Katana. She's got my back. She can cut all of you in half with one sword stroke, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
Which, if you could find a way to show that could be really cool, but here it's just fucking dumb.
I remember sitting in the theater right there and just like audibly going like, what? What the fuck just happened? That was lines in a movie? Like, I think somebody read the whatever it's called, the like scene descriptions in the script and accidentally said them out loud.
That they did.
I'm coming for you.
I feel like Joker wouldn't text that coherently.
No, exactly.
Love it that they're supposed to be like discreet about it, but the logo on the phone is his face, and it says, "I'm coming for you."
Who could that be?
Yeah, don't let anyone see your phone, you fucking idiot.
Right, no kidding. And I like Margot Robbie. I do. I think she's a good actress, and I like what she's trying to do with her money and her influence in Hollywood. And by all accounts, behind the scenes, she's a really cool person. She's very down to earth, very collaborative. And
That's a lot of qualifiers there, so you're about to say something horrible.
I am. Yeah, well, not against her, but it's just she was one of the things that critics highlighted in this movie, which I still don't understand. It's nothing against her, but it's like she's trying, but so is everyone else. Like everyone else is just trying with the material they've been given, and it still makes absolutely no sense that her character is here.
I don't think there's really anything special about her take on Harley. This is nothing that we haven't seen before, except with less clothes. I mean, she's just doing Arlene Sorkin's voice. Her mannerisms are taken from the cartoons, from the comic books. Like, she's like standing on the shoulders of giants, you know? So like, yeah, she's fine, but she's not doing anything interesting or original. And I personally just have never really cared about Harley Quinn. The only thing that's ever gotten me to give a shit about this character is the cartoon.
And she is fantastic in the cartoon.
Because that cartoon made her interesting. They leaned on the underpinnings of the character to make something more interesting than the surface.
Right, exactly.
And this is just all surface.
Oh boy, isn't it though? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Mind games. What a bomb in the neck crap.
Oh, Slipknot, we hardly knew ye.
It ain't real, mate.
Oh.
I just love how I wonder which one's gonna die. Maybe the one that got a line of expository background that was shouted off screen.
Right. He didn't even get his own title card.
He's dressed like one of the dudes from G.I. Joe, like 2009.
Oh, is he?
I'm kind of, they all have black body armor like that. Him, fucking Deadshot's the same. He's just got a red, like a red fucking, what's the word? Under Armour.
Yeah.
See ya! Like, hold your fire. Let's just blow up his head instead.
Right? No kidding. Beep beep. Whoops.
Thunk.
Yoinks. It's like, oh, they do work.
They always have that scene too. Like, you gotta have the one character that's introduced. Just, oh god, killer app. Fuck off.
Oh, God.
They all gotta have that one character that's introduced just so they can show that the bombs work.
Right, exactly.
But again, that's done a lot better in that Assault on Arkham movie I was telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Because like every character in that gets an introductory scene, and among them is KG Beast. And then when they're introduced, Waller's like, "Yeah, you can leave if you want, but I'm going to take your head." And he's like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving." And she hits the button, and his head explodes. So that everyone else is like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do it."
That is a good way to do it. Yeah, it's not that you can't do these things. It's just you just don't care. And it's not that you have to have an emotional attachment to the character. It's just it has to be done in a way that feels exciting. And it's like, oh, well.
Ayer's cut also had them fucking, I think.
I heard that. I heard
weird.
Well, I think it's in the new 52 that there's kind of a love triangle between Deadshot and Harley and Joker.
Deadshot fucks her in Assault on Arkham.
Yeah.
Like, I inherently don't think there's anything necessarily weird with that pairing, but in this movie, in this context, it's really weird for them to be on this, like, end of the world mission. Like, well, I better go get some crazy pussy then.
Right?
Fucking,
if I'm gonna die, yeah.
And the fact that there's like a 30-year age difference between them is really weird.
There is, isn't there?
Yeah.
Well, I keep forgetting how old Will Smith is because he looks young.
Yeah.
But yeah. Ew. All right. Well, there's just no room for it. Like, where are you going to put it here amongst all this shit? Like, I don't even buy the love story between her and Joker.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, man.
Much less throw someone else in the mix. I was thinking, a really good example of a character coming in and then being almost immediately killed off, but in a way that's like, oh, that's gory and cool. Alfred Molina in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but that's not kind of the same. I mean, he's just a sidekick. He's going to die.
Well, yeah, but same here too.
Yeah.
Like, Slipknot's gonna die, and there's
What the fuck are these things? Oh yeah, there's like some eyeball monsters up here, I guess. Like, they're introduced in like a casual way, but like that's like a big thing. Here's a small thing that I think is fucking stupid. Deadshot has that little aiming reticle over his left eye. In the comic books, it's always over his right eye. I don't know why, but that bugs the shit out of me. Like, does it matter? Does it really matter? And he's like aiming with his right eye now. The whole point is to have that over the eye that he's going to aim out of, because it helps him aim.
makes sense.
Otherwise, why does he have that?
Right.
Where did Boomerang get a beer? What the fuck is It's funny to show him drink beer when they should be fighting, so just give him a beer in this scene. Doesn't matter that they're in a war zone and he would not have a beer. He's Australian. He has a beer somewhere, I'm sure.
Keeps it in his jacket with the unicorn. Yeah, a friend of mine, I don't know if she came up with this or if she heard it somewhere else, but these guys are basically putties from Power Rangers.
For sure.
Whatever sound they made.
They're like magical creatures, but like a sword and a crocodile man and a gun can take them down pretty easily.
Right. They're pretty squishy.
Rawr. It's my beer.
We won't stand for that.
And then right here is when he loses the what's it called? The fucking unicorn again. I feel like that unicorn is only in there because of Deadpool.
Probably.
There's a joke in Deadpool about him having a unicorn, and there's a scene where it shows him masturbating while looking at his little unicorn. And this, like, when they introduce it, it says fetishes, unicorns. Like, yeah, I saw Deadpool too, dude. That doesn't, like... In Deadpool, it's actually used as a joke, as like a throwaway joke. This, it's a setup to a joke that never happens.
Right. Exactly. There's no setup. It's the idea that, just because it's there, it's immediately funny. And it's like, no.
It's inherently funny because he's a big bank robber, but he likes a little unicorn. And in the thing, it says, like, it's not what a fetish is.
No. And that's kind of it, too. Like, these guys are supposed to be the villains, but in this movie, they're basically, they go on the same hero's journey, which isn't, wrong within itself, but aren't these guys supposed to be villainous? Aren't they supposed to be bad? Aren't we supposed to be a little bit afraid of them?
You don't see them do anything villainous that you wouldn't see, like, a real rough and tumble hero do in anything else.
Right.
Like, Deadshot kills a guy in the beginning, but he's like a mob enforcer or something.
Exactly.
Who the fuck cares if he shoots some like sleazy douchebag in the back of the head? And then you see Harley Quinn do nothing. Same with, I don't know, everyone else.
She what does she do? She breaks the store window of a designer boutique.
We haven't seen that yet.
Purse.
Oh wait, there's a unicorn again.
There it goes, back on the jacket. We see it again.
You see Boomerang kill another bank robber.
Bank robber.
Again, that's nothing unforgivable. You see Enchantress sit in a bathtub, but it's like a dirty bathtub.
It's like mulch that's gone bad. She's got like grass growing up around her or something.
I guess you see him, fire dude. You see him like burn up some people, but it hasn't been said that he killed his family yet. It's fire.
Oh dear.
There's Scott Eastwood. He had a line.
The brief said terrorist. He's like, give me my check. I'm done.
Poor fucking guy. I mean, I guess he's gotten famous after this, so shouldn't say that poor fucking guy. But I feel like he probably got hired to this thinking it was going to be a bigger role than it is.
Definitely, because he's had a couple movies now where he's been the lead.
Yeah, and he's in like the Fast and Furious movies now too.
Is he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie forever.
I haven't seen any of them. That's a weird franchise to me because like I haven't seen any of them. I don't have a ton of interest, but like I respect the hell out of them for just doing their thing and being insanely profitable and popular.
They found a niche.
And I think it was Gail Simone. Yeah, Gail Simone. A few months ago said that she years ago was having a lunch with a producer in Hollywood, and he said to her, "The Fast and the Furious franchise have done more for diversity in Hollywood than a million angry Twitter threads." And she was like, she said like she was thinking about it, like, fuck, you're right. Like the casts are always very diverse, but more than anything, the creatives behind the camera. There's been one white guy that's directed one single Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been Black and Asian directors.
Hey, fantastic. Gotta hand it to him there.
Wait, here we go. She's doing a little wiggle. Wiggle. Little weird fucking dance.
Belly Dance 101.
And then she's gonna do like the stripper bend right there. Like
There you go.
fucking keeps her legs and back straight while she bends over to stick the ass out.
That's how all women, we all pick up
That's
things.
all women do everything all the time.
Exactly.
According to David Ayer.
Well, I was going to say, this thing that Harley does right here, it's like, if I was in a dystopian city that was totally blown to hell, I would probably do the same thing. You know.
I'd pull a boomerang. Well, I guess that he hasn't even done that yet. But like later, when he's got the wad of cash in his pocket, you don't ever see him pick that up.
Right.
Just take the wads of cash.
Exactly.
Carry out a purse.
Well, hey, those designer purses are sometimes worth wads of cash themselves. If I lived, there would be great resale.
Hey, the John F. Ostrander Federal Building, named after Ostrander.
He's like, don't do me any favors.
Ignore everything else that he did on the comic, but throw his name in, sure.
Exactly.
I remember when this came out, too, thinking to myself, like, fuck, well, that was the shot. Never going to see another Suicide Squad movie. Thanks a lot, guys.
Oh, I thought it was the end, too. I was like, oh, that was a failed experiment.
Yeah. So the fact that we're getting another one by James Gunn, have you seen the reviews?
I've purposely stayed away from them, but it sounds like the news is good.
It's got like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Oh, yay!
Out of the 100 reviews or so, there's one that's bad.
Thank God.
See what they're up to now.
More like thank good writing and production.
Thank James Gunn.
Thank you, James Gunn.
It is 96%. Sorry, it dropped. Out of 92 reviews, though. Like, that's insane. It was 100% the whole first day that reviews were released.
That's fantastic. All right. There is hope.
I'm close. Be ready. Wonder what that means.
And, that could have been a cool cameo in the Joker. He doesn't have to, he practically is a cameo already, but didn't have to be one that you wasted.
Yeah. The fact that it was, there was so much build-up around that character.
Right.
And, again, I don't think he should be in a Suicide Squad story. Joker's not a character that's historically associated with the Squad, and he's not involved with the A-plot. He's like the leader of the B plot. I fucking don't care.
Right. And the whole B plot is to rescue her, yeah. Right? Unless I've missed something, which is very possible in this movie.
Also, she's wearing a jacket that says "Property of the Joker." She's supposed to be this character that's her own person or whatever, and blah blah blah. But the optics of it go against that so soundly that you still look at her as an object.
Yes.
Because the movie does.
Right.
And they can say that she's dangerous and she's interesting all they want, but that doesn't make her so.
Well, in true DCEU fashion, they want to have all of these meaningful character moments or character traits, and they just tell you they don't do anything to actually build them up.
She called him a pussy. Isn't that so against what you'd expect her to say? Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that make her interesting that she said pussy?
Oh gosh. Now, when did Infinity Wars come out?
The Avengers?
Yeah.
2019.
2019. Okay.
Wait, 2018. Oh, look at that. He got stabbed. I wonder if he's going to die. See, that was so clearly, as he pulls out the wad of cash, it's so clear that was supposed to be the unicorn.
Right.
They keep stuffing the unicorn in there. It's the comedy rule of threes. You see something, you remind, and then you pay off.
Exactly. Well, and it still could be the wad of cash if he just and pulled out the unicorn and was like, oh, thank God, it's all right, But nope.
But you don't ever see him grab a wad of cash.
Right.
It's introduced in that moment, which was probably a reshoot.
Probably.
It was probably like in the first time, because this movie was filmed, edited by Ayer, shown to the studio, and focused or test. They did test screenings as well. So it was shown test screenings. It was recut, showed test screenings again. And from what I've heard, Ayer's cut and the test screening and the recut were both like just terrible. So then they did reshoots, and then it was recut again. Now Ayer has also said there's like dozens of other cuts that he just did over and over. So realistically, even if there is an Ayer cut, like fucking which one? Because he apparently did a ton on his own. And as much as he talks shit about it, he also oversaw this cut. I mean, he didn't take his name off of it, and he was talking it up a lot when it came out. He called this, because he code named each of his cuts. And this one was called what's that called? The dossier cut.
The dossier cut.
Yeah, because at the beginning, all the characters are introduced via dossier. So that again, he had his own name for this cut. So what was the other cut? There's no singular Ayer cut. There's a bunch of weird, different versions of this story that probably aren't any better conceptually. And I will say that till I'm blue in the face. I don't care how many fucking DCEU assholes talk shit about or build up his version on Twitter.
Right. It's just, I'm going to start doing that now with my stories at work. It'll go from the first draft to this is my dossier story for this week's
my dossier cut.
Oh, God. Ay.
That's too easy. Would you live for me? I fucking hate his Joker, man. I hate everything about this casting, this role, this character. The thing that I really don't like about it more than anything, though, is that you can feel the performance.
Yeah.
And everything about this look and the way he talks and everything feels very performative. It doesn't feel like a guy who's crazy, who turned into the Joker, who fucking is a supervillain. It feels like an actor who watched The Dark Knight and then read a few comics and then created this weird fucking costume and tattoos and way of speaking, and it feels like an actor playing the role.
Right, exactly. You're not watching the Joker, you're watching Jared Leto play the Joker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even as performative as Jack Nicholson's Joker is, that actually feels performative on purpose.
Right, it's fun.
And I feel like there's many scenes in that movie where he tells a joke and then he fucking laughs his ass off. When no one else is laughing. And I fucking love that because I feel like he's literally putting on a performance for himself. Like he's so fucking amused with his stupid humor. He's like the the ultimate like dad joke guy who's just
Right. Right, a dad joke that actually has some menace behind it.
Yeah, and I love that take on the Joker because I feel like he's the only one in the room who thinks he's funny, but because of that, it makes him laugh even harder.
Right. He's in on the joke
Yeah.
if no one else is. And this, there's no joke. There's no joke.
How are they standing up? He's like standing up to his waist in that.
Yeah, that would have killed her realistically. Probably.
And it showed him have to dive in to get her, though.
Right.
That doesn't...
Hammer.
I bet that was corrected in the air cut. In the air cut, they drown.
Right. Oh, if only. No. That's to go back a little. Speaking of other characters like Diablo, it's so stupid how quick he goes from "I'm redeemed, I'll never kill again" to like slaughtering a room full of beings.
Also, yeah, like those aren't people; those are like demons or whatever. Like, do you see all the eyeballs on their head? You fucking idiot! Like, you're not killing kids in a neighborhood.
Exactly.
Like, look at that thing. Oh man, I'm never gonna raise my hand in violence again, dude. Like, well, how's about self-defense, you fucking idiot?
Exactly.
You not realize that we're trying to save the world?
Right.
Fucking genius.
They're mutated grapes. Go ahead. You know. Isn't there?
I'll just go into this room here. Like, that was really weirdly staged. Why are you here?
And it's so quick and it's so funny because it's just a room. He's like, "What is this?"
That feels like a fucking rug pull joke, you know? Like that's the kind of comedy you'd see on like a Tim Robinson show, for God's sake. It's the guy that does I Think You Should Leave.
That's right.
The bones are their money. Yeah, he just waltzes in. Deadshot just fucking wanders in. That was supposed to be like a secured door. And now Deadshot's in here. Oh, hey, yeah, sorry. You left it cracked, so I just poked my head in.
What's going on, guys? Oh, God.
Like, why is she here? Why is this a thing?
I don't know. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I will argue with anybody about that. It's like, give me the reason why we all of a sudden have this twist that is not a twist.
This is the guy who shoots people for money.
Dun.
And that's the way she kills them, too. Like, that is fucking hilarious.
And that line, damn, that is just a mean lady.
Yeah, like, again, completely undercut the seriousness of the situation there. But the way she just shoots them all... First of all, there was like 10 other people in that room that just disappeared. She killed like maybe 2 or 3 of them. And the way she's... it looks like just the weirdest staging of an execution I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's nothing surprising about it.
Fucking Katana's watching the door, like not supposed to let anyone in. Again, Deadshot just wandered in. And then she's the way she's standing there, like, no, I let him in.
It's cool, he's fine. He told me he was alright.
I was gonna kill him and steal his soul with my sword, but
Reasons.
See, it's good. You guys want to go home?
Oh, gosh.
Kill a bear from there.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, like, you get no backstory about, like, why is Katana here? Why does she want to protect Amanda Waller?
Yeah, exactly. I get that her husband died and that she's killing Yakuza because of that, I guess. I mean, it's kind of said in that flashback, but yeah, why does she know Waller? Why is she committed to Flag? Why does she have a sword in a war zone? Is her sword really magical? Does it actually have her sword? You don't see her do that at all. In the trailer, there's a shot of her holding her sword, like there's a shot of her like waving her sword, and you can see like ghostly faces like floating off of it. And then there's another shot of her holding it. It looks like in the trailer she's stabbing herself, but she's not. It's just weirdly angled. But there's a scene of her like looking at it like with a really pained expression on her face, like she's crying while she's talking to it or something. And again, in that shot, you can see like haze coming off of it, implying that it's magical. But that's not in the movie at all. You get his line about it, and that's it. Which, if that's the case, then why even have that line?
I don't know.
Why have it be a magical sword? It doesn't have to be.
No. I think it's the idea that it's like, well, this is from the comics, so if we put it there, fans will like it. And it's like, well, okay, if you think your fans are stupid 6-year-olds.
Well, and there's probably a cut of the movie where it is a magic sword, and it does get used for magical purposes. But since it's not in this version, like, just cut out that line.
Right, exactly.
She was also the character of Katana, Tatsu Yamashiro. So her name's Tatsu Yamashiro, and she's on the show Beware the Batman, the animated series.
Oh, okay.
She was like a secret agent that Alfred knew back when he was a secret agent. And the way every time he says her name, because he's got a thick British accent, there's always Tatsu Yamashiro. So every time I hear her name, I think of it in his fucking accent. But she was also on Arrow, played by what is her name? Katana Arrow, played by Rila, whatever, the chick in the Wolverine.
Oh, yes.
Fuck is her name?
I can't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
Rila Fukushima.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. And she had like the same basic costume too, like that New 52 style of katana.
There you go.
They had to write her out of that show because of this fucking movie.
No, really?
Yeah. So the Suicide Squad had been on. They were on Arrow for a couple episodes, and many of the characters from the team were on Arrow, just on their own. But Deadshot was a fairly major antagonist on Arrow, and when Suicide Squad was put into production, they had to write him out. So they fucking killed him off. But they killed him off in a way he's like standing on the top of a building as it explodes. So it's one of those like they could bring him back, and then they do. They bring him back, but only like as a vision, like. John Diggle sees him as like a fucking hallucination in one episode. And then he's also in an episode of The Flash as Earth 2 Deadshot. On Earth 2, he's a police officer who's a really terrible shot. And they call him Deadshot as a joke. But the actor that played him was like great in the role, and I really liked him. His name was Michael Rowe. I really liked him on Arrow, and I really liked the way they used that character. But then because of this fucking movie, he couldn't be in it anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
His episode, the episode that introduced the Suicide Squad, I think was called Suicidal Tendencies, which is a good name for it.
That is a good name for it. Well done.
And the Suicide Squad also used Bronze Tiger on that show. He's a staple of the comic books.
Yeah.
And I really wish he'd been in one of these movies. My only real disappointment so far with the James Gunn Suicide Squad is that Bronze Tiger isn't in it. Because
he would have been cool.
And he's basically Katana in this. He's like the squad's like conscience. He's like a second in command to Flag, but he's also an inmate. Like he's like straddling the line. Like he's kind of there against his will, but he's also honorable, so he wants to do the right thing. He's a really, really interesting character that I wish we could have seen in one of these movies.
That would have been nice. Well,
when Idris Elba was cast in Suicide Squad 2, I thought for sure he was going to be Bronze Tiger, but he wasn't.
Yeah. Well, maybe in a following installment.
Yeah.
It could happen.
They needed a gun guy, so that's why he's in it.
Yeah, true. But it is Idris Elba.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, this is really dumb right here. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to be sad that Harley is supposedly dead.
Why did they need her? I'm sorry, why did they need to go there if they're just going to fly her out?
Right.
You see that? She literally, they grabbed her, walked her to the roof 20 feet away from where she was sitting, and got her onto a helicopter. That helicopter could have just flown in and grabbed her without them even being involved.
Exactly.
Fuck, this movie's dumb. I never noticed that before. That's how dumb this movie is. That's game breaking. That destroys the story.
Well, it's like you said earlier. It's like, okay, how come Amanda Waller couldn't have the military do this?
Yeah.
Because these guys haven't come up against anything that the United States military couldn't handle.
Yeah.
Oh
my God, this movie. It gets dumber and dumber. Waller's down. It's over. That's just been the end there.
Yeah, it does that thing that you and I have discussed before, which is, again, why I don't like a lot of English translations of anime, is because they just tell you what's already happened. Yeah. It's like, we know. If you've been watching the movie, you know.
You got nothing.
Oh, God. And that text on his fucking shirt is so idiotically distracting.
Yeah, yes. Insanely distracting. I really like that costume overall, but that text just fucking kills me, man.
It does. Well, that's another thing about his costume that, like, when you look at pictures of it, it actually looks pretty vibrant.
Yeah.
But it's shot so dark here that you don't get any of that.
Muddy and dark with the background. And like, also, so is he a professional who is doing this for money? You know, like, is he a professional killer, or is he like some sort of religious fanatic? Because he quotes the Bible earlier, and that I am the light, I am the way, and then there's also like a Bible quote on his gun, on his rifle. You don't really see it well, because again, everything has to have writing on it in this fucking movie. Like, so what is his deal? Like, is he a sociopath? Like Harley just diagnosed him as, and he's like, yeah, I don't care about nothing, but I love my daughter. I'm gonna do the right thing, but I just want fucking money, and I want to kill people for money. But I got a heart of gold. I hate that trope.
Oh, me too. And it would have been so much more interesting if, like, 'cause he's a dad in the comic.
Yeah.
It would have been so much more interesting if we found out, like, there was no stupid flashbacks of him going Christmas shopping with his daughter, and we found out that, you know, yeah, he is this horrible guy who's done horrible stuff, and he has these children who will never speak to him or get to know him because he has done this horrible stuff. And
she got her heart back. Yay.
Oh, yay!
Does that matter? Does that change anything?
It makes the portal in the sky more...
The beam got brighter.
Yeah.
I'm having to squint now.
The desktop is now different.
Can I make her wiggle better?
With my heart returned, I can finish my weapon.
Get to wiggling.
God.
And see, so this is another example. Like, so her costuming, it's weird, and I don't really like it. But it's very, like, it exposes a lot of her body, but it doesn't feel inherently sexual.
Right.
Like, you can do that. You can show off the female form, but it doesn't have, like, it's not inherently lewd and gross. Right, exactly. Like the way Harley's shot. I don't know why Harley gets filmed that way, but she doesn't.
I think it really is for, like, the guys in the audience who have a big Harley Jones.
Yeah, that's probably true, because there's a weird contingent of fans that'll fucking jerk off to her like crazy, I'm sure. I don't know why. I don't know why Harley, of all the characters, got so many little fan boners going.
Oh, it's that idea. It's you know, that really simplistic idea that, and if that's your thing, that's fine. But, you know, it's like the hot chick who's slightly crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
The hot crazy chick. The manic pixie dream girl.
Exactly.
But, like, to the nth degree.
Yes. She might fuck you or she might beat your head in with
She's
a
little dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that girl at the bar that rejected me. Making a jerk-off motion, by the way.
For those of you at home. Oh, yeah. Well, and that's, again, it's like the all of the characters here are the most...
Oh, yeah, here's the weird flashback. Here's the weird placement. And, like, that guy gets the weird prominence there. Oh, my God, it's so dumb.
It is dumb.
All right, anyway, sorry. They're talking about jerking off to Harley.
Oh, Goober. I was just going to say, all of the characters have the most rudimentary of tropes that the filmmakers want you to think are really meaningful and really, you know, impactful to the story. And it's like, man, they're not. They're not.
Ah, stab it.
Stabby!
So if you kill the heart, it kills her, but then it doesn't? That's how she escaped from Waller. You didn't explain how.
No, you didn't.
So now you know. Knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.
That's a better movie. No, I brought up Avengers Infinity War
earlier
because you can tell, even though that movie came out after this, you can tell that like Rick Flag and June Moon are supposed to be like the Vision and Wanda of this movie. Like they're supposed to be really emotionally invested in the fact that, you know, that's his girlfriend and he doesn't want to hurt her. And it's like, I don't care about your relationship, dude. No one cares about your relationship.
Amazing to me. Just a movie like this, I think that's probably a good point of comparison, this and Infinity War, because they both have huge casts, and one is done so fucking good, and the other is not.
Exactly.
And it's like you could give it to Marvel because those characters have already been established and all that. But I mean, technically, these characters have too. They've all been in comics and shit. But that relationship that you just pointed out is a really good example too, because in the movies, that relationship starts in Infinity War. Right. They're friends and colleagues, but they're not romantic until Infinity War. And they're introduced in a bedroom with like Vision looking outside and her in bed. And she stands up and walks over to them, and the conversation that they have and the warmth between them immediately sells it.
Right.
It's like you see them on screen in a like romantic situation for 15 seconds. And you're like, yeah, they've been together for years.
Exactly. They are in love. And
in this, it's like every time Flag and Moon are in a room together, and they're supposed to be like in a like, really? Them? I thought he was gay. I thought he has more sexual tension with Deadshot, for fuck's sake.
This is really going to interrupt June's graduate degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know about you, but I unashamedly wept at the end of Infinity Wars when she has to kill him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. Here it's like, again, I don't care about your relationship.
Yeah. And Marvel gets a lot of shit. They always have gotten shit about being like bright and funny and happy and all that. And like, yeah, there's a lot of that in those movies. But watch the last 10 minutes of Infinity War. Right. And just the fucking intensity and emotion in that, along with the spectacle. The way that the Russo brothers, and just Marvel at large, is able to mix all that so well to, like, they've had dark movies, they've had light, happy movies. Most of their movies, though, kind of blend all those elements, and it's just focused on humanity and the relationships and whatnot. And since they nailed that so perfectly, they can have everything else around it, you know? Like, this, like, none of these characters are fucking nailed down, so it's the tone is doing all the heavy lifting. And the fucking tattoos.
No kidding.
How come she's not burned?
Yeah, she looks fine.
Oh, wait, now she's Ash. Jesus. This is a delayed reaction.
Right? Oh,
She should have looked like fucking Two-Face. She should have just been like a little cinder person.
Crispy,
yeah.
And then we get this part where the stereotypical
Like a fucking Boomerang was just crying, for fuck's sake. The shitbag of all shitbags is crying. Look at his little glassy eyes there. God damn it. Fuck you.
Well, this is the part in every movie, right, where a group who has been given a mission, they feel like they're going to fail. So, you know, they band together, and it's like, these people wouldn't do that. Yeah. They have no reason to do that.
Especially, like, the mission's over. They should just leave. Right. And what does any one of them bring to the table that, again, a million military guys couldn't?
Exactly. Yeah, there's no sense that any of these guys have purpose in this story.
Every single time you open your mouth. The outside, you're amazing. You're ugly. Yeah, that's kind of, I think, the way the movie treats her, too. Like, look at how beautiful she is. Don't think about what's inside. Because it doesn't matter. Like, it's just going to change scene to scene. So,
Right, exactly.
Hey, that guy was in G.I. Joe. Now that we mention it.
Was he?
The guy that plays, he played Heavy Duty in G.I. Joe. Oh. Not that you'd know it from this, because he has like 4 lines, and he just could be a stuntman half the time.
He could.
I mean, God bless him for getting work, I guess. He probably got a nice paycheck out of this. I can't remember his name. It's hard to pronounce.
It is.
He's been in a ton of shit, though. He was in Born Identity. He was in Congo.
He was in Born Identity?
Yeah. He was like that warlord.
Wow.
His name is Jared Leto. Wow, dual role.
Adewale Akinoe
Yes.
Agbaye.
Something very hard to pronounce for us anyway.
I forgot Slipknot was in this.
I was like, oh, hey.
Have you heard anything about Nathan Fillion's role in the Suicide Squad
I have not.
sequel? So, like, when he first announced he was in it, there's a big question about who he was playing because his costume doesn't really look like anyone in the comic. Oh, yeah, what's his name just pieces out. What was I going to say? Nathan Fillion, yeah. So, have you seen who he's playing in the new one? Do you know anything about it?
Well, I've seen the trailers, but I've purposely stayed away from reviews and behind-the-scenes stuff because I have high hopes for this movie, and I want to go in fairly blind.
Well, in one of the trailers, they show his power. Because once you see his power, you know who he's playing.
Oh, look at him. He looks great.
It's Arm Fall Off Boy.
I'm fall off, boy.
They changed his name in the movie, though. It's TDK.
Is it Yo-Yo? No, it's not Yo-Yo.
Right? No, it's Arm Fall Off Boy.
No, I mean in the comics.
It's Arm Fall Off Boy in the comic.
Oh, that's really his
Yes.
name? Oh, okay.
His name is Arm Fall Off Boy, but they changed the name for the movie to TDK. And TDK stands for The Detachable Kid.
Oh, okay.
I just love how instead of boy, it's kid.
Kid, right? Nathan Fillion is a man. No. He
Yeah,
looks great.
there's in the comic.
Oh my god! And just pop. I like that. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
That's right. In the trailer, there's a scene where he's sitting on the helicopter. By the way, the helicopter in the comic is named Sheba. The Suicide Squad's helicopter is basically a character in the comic. Oh yeah, and then he just shows back up.
With a beer.
And there's a scene where, like, when they introduce Weasel. Have you seen that part in the trailer?
I have not.
Because he's, like, sitting next to Blackguard. And he's like, dude, is this a dog? And he's like, I think it's... I can't remember who... Oh, Captain Boomerang goes, a dog? Like, yeah, what kind of dog do you think it is? And then TDK, like, pokes in and goes, I'd say an Afghan hound.
Afghan hand. Oh, I'm so excited to see that.
Got my ticket for Thursday.
Woohoo!
I'm going to the theaters. I'm not watching on fucking HBO Max.
Yeah, give that movie money. Oh, they left a big ass demo charge down there in the subway. Oh. I don't get it. I just don't. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't get it. If you're sitting at home and you're watching this along with our commentary, and for whatever reason you really like this movie, again, fine. But you can't tell me it's good.
Yeah, also you're wrong. No, I mean, but there's such a difference between I like this and it's good.
Right.
And so whatever, if you like this, fine. I don't give a shit. You can like whatever you want. I like shitty movies too. But don't say it's good.
Right.
And don't ever, like, I was just somebody. Oh yeah, the bartender that I know. I hate that weird little crab walk he does. It looks so dumb. And then it goes to CGI when he swims away. So he's suddenly moving all fluidly and cool through the water. Oh yeah, I was arguing with this bartender that I know about this movie. Oh, there's the scene.
There it is. Yes, she's talking to
Right
her
there.
husband.
That's the shot I was talking about. So I didn't realize that was still in the movie. It's just, yeah, okay, great. And husband was killed with a sword. It's doesn't impact the plot at all.
And then we get that stupid exposition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his soul's trapped inside of it. Obviously.
Who cares? Why does any of this matter?
Right. Doesn't make it any more emotional as we go into this final battle.
That was specifically the shot where she slides it in, because the way it's framed, it looks like she's stabbing herself.
It does, yeah.
So this bartender, I was talking about this movie because I was like, yeah, I can't wait for the new one. The old one's a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, I love the old one. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can like it, whatever. I'm not gonna get on your ass about that because I like shitty stuff too. She's like, no, but it's like really well done. Like, I really like the character. I'm like, don't make me argue. I understand that there is a difference between objective, like, merit and subjective, good, bad, whatever, like opinion or whatever. And I will never argue that, but I will definitely argue objectivity. And like, so don't say that, well, it's really well done. It's not really well done. You can like it, yeah, but it's not well done.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one of those things, is like, if you're going to say that it's well done, you better be able to say why.
And I've heard people like, well, all art is subjective. Like, no, it's not. Because if all art was subjective, then A, we wouldn't have critics, and B, every single piece of fucking margin doodles in your notebook would be up next to the Mona Lisa.
Exactly.
There is objectivity, in art. Like, there has to be. There's objectivity in everything. Again, there just fucking has to. Oh, there's a wiggle. Wiggle.
I wonder if that was direction she was given, or if that was just where the character organically came from.
I think right here, I remember one of those, the video I showed you about the editing of this.
Oh, yes.
They point out this one shot right here, this cut. Just the difference between momentary editing and then like the overall editing. And just how terrible this movie fails on that, both regards. But they point this out, I think it's right here, on momentary.
Coming up very soon.
Yeah, I don't know. They talk and then it cuts to them walking. But the way it cuts away, there's too much time elapsed. So the edit feels weird.
It's well, for those of you listening at home, go to YouTube and watch Folding Ideas, Suicide Squad, and the Art of Editing. And the guy makes an excellent case about why this movie does not work on a structural...
Any level.
Yeah, any level. Exactly.
He also takes a few shots at Batman vs. Superman, which I fucking love to see, personally. And anytime somebody is able to objectively point out how bad that movie is, more power to you. Watch Joker's teeth in this. There's something about it that doesn't look right. Watch when he turns slightly. See, like, look at his mouth. His teeth are just wrong.
I wonder if it's because he still has the grill on and they just...
So they put fake teeth over the grill? No, they didn't do that.
Well, no, like they CGI'd it out.
I think they just gave him fake teeth to make his like big white chompers look bigger. It looks like the fucking Mask, for God's sake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, now we get this series of shots, like she's showing them what your life could be like. And because we don't...
Are they dead? Oh, weird. I got dead kids now. That's cool.
I'm like, what? Dead wife. There you go. Yeah, there's nothing that has established any of these previous, like, oh, yes, this is what they long for in their heart. Meanwhile, like, with everyone else, it's their family or their love interest. With Deadshot, he's like, I got to kill Batman!
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I feel like that works more than any others, but, like, there's something you don't see. Like, I want to see what Captain Boomerang's would be.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that guy's heart's desire is, and it would probably make this movie NC-17. Okay, there we go. Oh, that was a cut. Fuck. It's them talking, and then suddenly they're halfway into walking up to her. Also, I don't know if this is going to be controversial or misogynistic, but I think that Cara Delevingne is way hotter than Margot Robbie.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful. I mean, I think they're both... Yeah. I guess I don't have a preference either way.
Even with her jerky weird movements.
She's gorgeous, and she's also one of those people who I think is a pretty decent actor. She just keeps getting placed in shitty movies.
The way that Harley just used the bat to cover herself. Like, she used the bat like it was a shield. Idiot, that's wood. You're going up against a god. Like, did none of you people get the memo?
Flame retardant bat and fishnets, apparently. But,
oh, man, you mean your little IED didn't work there, genius?
I'm so surprised.
Wow.
Oh.
Margot Robbie. Wait, no, we were talking about Cara Delevingne.
Yes.
What was that? Oh, what was that movie called? Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. Is that movie?
Yeah.
That was a real, like, about halfway into it, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling this. This is fucking sweet. Like, I really like this. And then at like the, I don't know, 2/3 mark, 3/4 mark or something, I'm like, are we not fucking done yet? Like, come on. Like you've pissed away all of my goodwill. This is way too much.
Right. And I wanted to give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good in that movie. I don't know that I kind of got.
I don't like Dane DeHaan though.
I was just gonna say it got off to a rough start for me because of him. Like they keep trying to make him a leading man, and he's really not a leading man.
It's all bitch. Apparently, this is not in the Ayer cut either. The fact that he is like a god,
Right.
like an Aztec god, which like okay, I mean, I guess I get that, but like, then what is he? And then what do you do here? Does that literally means that they just kill Incubus with an explosion? Like, I feel like a god fight makes way more sense, and it gives what's his fuck? It gives El Diablo like a reason to be on the team, literally more than anyone else.
Really, yeah. Like they should have just sent him. You know.
Plus, if he doesn't die, what is this movie called? Why is it called Suicide Squad? Somebody's got to die. I would have taken out probably half the team if it was me.
Well, and that's the thing is that like he's the one who sacrifices himself, and it's not mentioned.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, that's true.
Like so, it means nothing basically.
I love how they're just all standing around encouraging him like soccer parents.
We believe in you.
Get clear, get out of there.
Yeah.
Blow you. Wait.
Excuse me.
Blow it? They say blow it like 4 times right there.
They do.
Oh, GQ. That's not QT. It's GQ. Yeah, we're gonna care that this nameless person is sacrificing themselves now. Like, is that supposed to be the way that GQ dies is supposed to be impactful, but it's not because he just stands around in the background.
Right. Oh, sadness. Not really. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Who was the producers on this?
DC.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure the Snyders produced it. Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder produce all these fucking movies.
Was Goyer one of them?
I don't know. Look at her head. Did you see that?
No, what was it?
It was like moving independently of her body because it was clearly just like pasted on after they CGI'd her body, and it looked that did not move right. Look, see that?
Oh my gosh, that looks weird. That looked eerie and not in like a unsettling, ooh, this adds to the atmosphere type of way. It's like that was some bad Photoshop.
It's just very, very bad. Where did they get that footage?
Right?
See the footage of outer space, like, oh, what are they?
I love that there's this room in the Pentagon.
Yeah, that too.
Right? They're just watching everything. It's a secret facility, but we have a camera on it. Oh, gosh. And so what's happening to Laura again?
They're using her brain to destroy all the Argus stuff, like the satellites, and
That's right. Okay.
so that they can't track her. But I thought she was going to use a machine to break the world. I don't know. Fucking hate this movie.
It's too hard to remember. Oh yeah, remind me why Harley's bomb didn't go off when she tried to escape the Joker. I can't remember that either.
He used the doctor to
Oh, that's right.
stop the nanites.
That's right. Okay.
Speaking Japanese. Wow, good subtitle. Thanks for that.
Oh gosh. Well, see, and this is why
Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh no, it blew up.
This is why I don't. If you like bad movies, fine. But I just feel like movies like this, they think that you, the viewer, are a complete idiot.
Exactly. You're dumb enough to buy this shit, so like just fucking re-edit it, like cut out all the talking, throw in some shit about the heart. Gotta remember the heart of the witch. If you don't talk about the heart 8 times, these mouth breathers aren't gonna remember.
Pretty much.
So yeah, I was like liking this to me is just paying for stupidity. You know, like, oh yeah, I saw that in the theaters. It was really good. Like, well then you're the reason that we don't get good movies.
This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah. Oh.
I think I still have.
What's wrong?
Nothing. I told you I went to a blacklight party the other day,
Uh-huh.
and we had highlighters just sitting on the bar. So I used highlighters all over my arms. I made a little Arashikage logo from G.I. Joe right there. We can't see it anymore. But I took a shower, obviously, between the days and got myself all cleaned up. And I went back to the bar yesterday, and some of the black lights were still out. And I went to reach for my drink, and I could see the highlighters. Oh shit, that does not come off easily.
That was a more interesting story than what we just spent 2 hours watching.
I had somebody wrote their phone number on my arm.
Oh yeah. Oh, we need a black light.
I had a big arrow right there. My friend Anna made a Popeye tattoo on my arm.
Well, shoot.
Yeah, so the girl that wrote her phone number on my... So I've never had this happen to me. Somebody came up to me in a bar. Again, this woman came up to me in a bar and said, "Hey, who's your favorite X-Men character?" I was like, are you married? Why are you talking? Would you like to be married? And so then it gets even better. I got fake fanboyed or whatever because I was like, my favorite X-Men character is Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox. And she's like, yeah, but he's not really on the core team. He's X-Factor. I'm like, good call.
Yes.
I was not expecting that either.
Well, we need a black light now so you can find her phone number.
Oh, no, I already got it.
Oh.
I was going to sleep on that.
Well done. Yeah, and that right there is a better love story than Rick Flag. And
Get her heart! Tear the heart! The heart's out! We can end this!
If you didn't know...
I just talked over the 4 other comments about the heart. Hey, Croc! Eat the heart! Why? Where'd the heart go?
Right.
Tear it out, and then it's just gone? Here's the gun!
Catch!
Why do you need the gun if you had the heart? I thought the way to kill her was to take the heart out.
Right.
I thought you needed to kill the heart.
And you're dead shot. You need to use Harley's gun.
Yeah, you've got guns on you.
Right.
That's kind of your thing, bro.
Kind of the idea that teamwork makes the dream work.
That is some needless slow-mo right there.
It is.
Wow.
We should have timed this from the moment it started to when it ends. So I feel like it's at least a minute.
Why do they need to blow that up? I thought they needed to kill the heart. Why? The thing's still in midair. Don't cut away like that. That's really poor time management in your editing.
Exactly.
You're supposed to be building tension. This is killing the tension.
Right, well, and this adorable actress who plays Zoe, nothing against her at all, but honey, it's no one cares.
Yeah.
Shoo shoo.
Nothing against her, but I hate her.
Right. She has no meaning in this movie. Christ.
Look back at it. Oh, he chose love.
Yeah. Oh, this is painful to rewatch.
Christ. Wow. Well, just made it there. Deadshot.
I really should have brought Xanax and rubber cement.
Fucking hell. Where'd the heart go? The heart was the most important thing. They couldn't fucking shut up about it 30 seconds ago. Now it's just gone.
Oh, waiting for someone to...
Do we still need the heart? What's the
protocol with it?
One thing, we just talking about the sexualization of Harley. When this movie first came out, I remember reading an article, I think it was from Jezebel, about how sexualized... Oh, there's the heart. About how sexualized Katana is in this movie. Katana.
What?
Yeah, I know. And their argument seemed to be because she has a bare midriff. She's just like that. That's why she's sexualized. And she's showing a little bit of skin, I guess. But again, like I said earlier, there's a difference between showing that skin and then the context in which it's... I don't know. For some reason, it makes sense for me it makes sense for her to be dressed that way.
It's fine.
It doesn't necessarily make sense for Harley to be dressed that way. She's wearing leather. She looks tactical.
She does.
And I'm sure it's pretty hot to be swinging a sword around, so maybe you're going to want to air off some parts of your... I don't know.
Well, it's not the most egregious costume choice in this entire movie.
Exactly.
Well, and it's the idea, too, that some people have that when women show any skin, that's an immediately sexualization.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just the reverse idea.
Exactly.
That,
And it was really weird to me, because I'm pretty sure it was Jezebel that said that. It was weird it was weird for that to come from someone like them.
Right.
That should be a little bit more, a little less surface level in their feminism.
Right. Well, and that sounds like maybe it was just a slow week, and they're like,
probably.
we need a clickbait article.
Yeah, exactly.
It pertains to something that's in popular culture right now. Woke up from the spa and the mud bath.
Oh!
Got a nice body wrap going on
How did
there.
she survive that? Like, the power set doesn't really make any sense on her at all. Because they establish things and then they ignore them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought I killed you. Yeah, we did too. I feel like it would make way more sense if you did. This team's called the Suicide Squad again.
And only one of them is dead. Well, two, I guess, if you count Slipknot, but no one really does.
When Ayer was working on a sequel, he was actually going to bring back Diablo.
Oh.
Like, he wasn't supposed to be dead. It's like, oh, he's a god. He survived that. Whatever. You're welcome.
10 years off your prison sentences. Yay! Yeah.
Sweet, I'll get out in 90 years.
Right, exactly. I'll be 74 when I'm finally free. Gosh.
BT.
Oh. Yeah. And that's...
Beeps? What did the beeps just happen? It just said beeps.
I don't know. What's the rating on this movie again?
PG-13.
Okay, yeah.
This is all the markings of a PG-13.
It really does. It really does.
Oh, they're friends now.
Oh, and he's teaching her about hypotenuse. Because that's what I want in my Suicide Squad movies, geometry lessons.
Well, she's like, when you shoot a man on the street, how far will the bullet actually go? Yeah, good job. You're a little sociopath, too. I love it. Good one.
Gotta raise him up right. Yeah. Again, and that weird idea that these characters have to be likable. It's like, actually, it would be better if they were not.
Yeah, and I mean, Deadshot has a daughter in the comic that he's estranged from, and like he is making money to give back to her, but like a few times that they've met that I've read, like in Secret Six, and then in other issues of the Suicide Squad, I guess, it's always like she's like, I don't want to fucking associate with you. Like, you're a sociopath. You know, you're not somebody that I want in my life. And he's like, yeah, I'm not somebody that should be in your life. I just want to see you every once in a while. Go live your life without me, and I'll keep sending the money.
Right.
And it's like he cares for her, but he cares for her enough to know that he is bad for her.
Exactly.
Which I think is way more interesting than this, like, I'm going to be a real father, even though I'm a fucking supervillain.
Right. Even though I cat people in the back of the head. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah.
Also, have you noticed that Belle Reeve looks completely different in the new movie? Just from what you see in the trailers, it looks completely different than this. It looks like an actual prison.
I've only seen one trailer for the new Suicide Squad movie.
My favorite part from what I've seen of Belle Reeve is that there's a scene where Waller is briefing all of them, and it looks like they're in like a theater, like a conference room, because they're all in like theater seats, and she's standing at the front. That happens in the comic all the time. They have this briefing room that they always go to, and she's like, here's your target, here's your mission, fucking let's talk about it. And in the trailer you see that, and I'm like, yes, the conference room is in there. I'm such a fucking nerd. That's what gets me hard about these movies. In the fucking conference room.
Colby's like, I love a good podium.
Yes. That's the scene in the trailer where what's his name? Peacemaker. Because she's like, codename Starfish. And he's like, oh, quick question. Starfish is also a slang term for butthole. Could that be useful? And she goes, no. And it shows Peacemaker like scratch it out on his piece of paper.
He's taking notes. Yeah, I just have so much more hope.
Hey, his shirt says Joker. I wonder who that is.
Christ.
Oh my God, it's Joker!
God. This really, really is how an 11-year-old would write fan fiction for this story.
Yeah.
And 11-year-olds, write all the fan fiction you want. That's great, but that doesn't make it a compelling, interesting movie for adults.
All my friends are heathens. Oh, Christ. Christ. Charles Roven produced this, along with Zack and Deborah Snyder.
There you go.
Jeff Johns, too. He does all the DC stuff.
Well, and to harken back to the music real quick, I love soundtracks. You know, we've talked about this in terms of how music influences comics and obviously film. It's a big deal with film.
Big damn deal.
It's just so fucking on the nose here, and all the songs they play I like. Although Hollywood seems to think that Creedence Clearwater Revival has only written one song their entire career.
Yeah.
All of it I like, but it's just also it's like being hit in the middle of the face with a hammer, you know?
I remember when the soundtrack was announced before the movie came out. It was like, look at the new Suicide Squad soundtrack, like with fucking Rick Ross and whatever. One of the songs, I fucking laughed when I saw it. Because it is... Oh, there's Purple Lamborghini, Rick Ross.
There are so many.
Oh, here we go. Bohemian Rhapsody by Panic at the Disco. And I saw that, was just like, no, not at all.
No.
Never.
God. Why would you? Why? Yeah. No. Jesus Christ. Yeah. And that's, since that very much this is trying to be DC's version of
Guardians of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of the Galaxy, yes, thank you.
Did you say Gardens?
No, I was going to say Guardians.
It's like that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 where she says Gardens.
Gardens of the Galaxy. No. That soundtrack is fantastic because, you know, it's not just hitting you in the face with, oh, this is supposed to symbolize what this character is all about. It actually ties into the story.
Yeah.
It's the last physical piece that
connects them to Earth.
Right, exactly.
And it's more than anything, it grounds us, the audience, because you're out in space. So like there's that weird juxtaposition of being on the other side of the galaxy, listening to like 80s rock, and you know, like that. There's that connection. It works on many levels in Guardians of the Galaxy because it was thought through. It wasn't just added last minute. You know, James Gunn wrote the script with those songs in mind. He filmed it with those songs in mind, and it fits the journey of the character. It fits the logic of the universe, and again, for us as an audience, it helps us to connect more personally with an inherently impersonal world.
Here. We're very well said.
Because that's what you do when you're a filmmaker. Like you think about shit like that, and you do it.
You keep coming up with all these radical statements about film, Colby.
And it's just like, again, like Ayer can. Oh yeah, we just talked through the Bruce Wayne scene because it's fucking dumb. A shot of this scene was actually in the original trailer. the opening of that scene, the way it moves in on Waller sitting in the restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, so like for all of Ayer's complaining about the studio and taking the movie and all this, like yeah, that shit happens, but also like it's literally your job as a director to make this shit work. And as I've said before, you either can or you can't.
Right.
And there's a million people. Dr. Van Chris, I feel like that's a character from the comic.
Is that one of the original 1959 Suicide Squad members?
No, I don't think so. Van Chris. I'm actually thinking of somebody else, I think. But let me look. Van Chris. Oh, it's only showing this.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Dr. Midnight. Dr. Midnight. One of the versions of Dr. Midnight has a similar name, I think. Anyway, as a director, it's your job to wrangle all those things together. Like, you're supposed to listen to
Peter Cross, that's what I was thinking. Chris, whatever.
Okay.
You're supposed to wrangle all those things and make it work. You're supposed to work with the studio, work with the talent, work with the editors, work with the producers, work with all those little things, and make everyone's vision align. And we talked about this a while ago with James Gunn, where he said, one of the reasons that I'm so successful in this field is that I work with the producers and like the big studios just as much as I work with the smaller, like, you know, people on the artistic side, because all of that has to mesh to have a good product.
Right.
And you can either be that person that whines about how your movie got taken away, or you can do your fucking best to make the best product regardless of the situation.
Exactly.
And sure, and you're gonna fail sometimes too. And you know what? You got to eat the failures and keep moving. You can't spend 5 years whining about this movie that underperformed and that just didn't work out well.
It's a strange, like, we've covered this a lot, but it is just still a strange phenomenon to me, that, like, I get it, like, putting something out in the world that you've worked very hard on and people piss on it,
Yeah.
rejection sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good at all. But, like, does that going to stop you from creating?
Yeah.
If it does, then maybe you shouldn't have done that to begin with.
And guess what? You're getting paid a lot of money
Right.
to show this to a lot of people. And also, I don't have that much sympathy for David Ayer about this movie getting pissed on, regardless of how much he internalizes it. Because he's also the guy that went to the premiere of this movie and screamed "fuck Marvel" at the top of his lungs, and had this whole fucking Marvel hate campaign when this movie came out. Like, he would say "fuck Marvel" all the time. Like, yeah, fuck Marvel, we're doing our own thing. Hey, fuck you guys. We're the bad boys of comic book movies. Yeah, Suicide Squad, blah, blah, blah. So he was, like, eating up the attention he was getting when this movie first hit. And then a few months later, when suddenly nobody liked it, then he's like, well, that wasn't my movie.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. You can't have it both ways. And nobody remembers that now because 24-hour news cycle won't shut up about the fact that there's a better cut of the movie out there now. But, like, hey, I was there. I don't have the goldfish memory that everyone else on Twitter does.
Right.
I remember how he acted back then, and I remember just how insufferable he was about this fucking movie. And, again, I don't give a shit about his other cuts. They're all going to be bad.
Right. Well, wasn't it, I think it was Roger Ebert who's like, yeah, I judge what's on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know your intent.
Yeah. And he can say that it's not his movie all he wants, but whose name is at the beginning?
There you go.
It opens with a David Ayer film. If you really had that much of animosity towards it, you could have removed your name.
Right. Well, and you know who's a real boss about that, who deserves a lot of respect and doesn't get it? Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, oh, that was such a horrible movie. He makes such horrible movies. Like, he made a couple bad movies because that's what usually creators do. You make some bad stuff. But he was like, yeah, I'm sorry if people were upset by that. Moving on.
We talked about that too when he died. Just the fact that, like, yeah, he owned it, and he also was very vocal just about the situation. And unlike David Ayer, he was like, look, man, I had a million studio execs telling me what to do. I had people literally, like, as I'm filming the third act, coming in and saying, change all our costumes because we need to sell more toys, add more vehicles in. He's like, I did what I could, and he goes, this was compromised from the beginning, and he goes, but I'm also a grown up. My name's in the end credits, so it's to an extent my fault too. Like, I'm an adult. I'm not gonna say it was somebody else's fault. I fucking made this movie.
Right.
And yeah, he totally owned his failures as much as his successes, and he was never like, he never lied about that or never tried to hide it.
He was a very classy man.
Yeah, he knew what it was, and he knew knew what he did, I guess. and that's a situation too. Like, this movie couldn't have had as many eyes as the fourth Batman movie had on it. So I feel like Schumacher was in a much worse situation than Ayer was.
Yeah.
And still walked away from it. Like, I mean, he walked away with his career intact. He made other movies after Batman and Robin. And I think in the end, he'll be well remembered for the other stuff he did.
Right. He's got a slew of different movies, different genres. And at the end of the day, too, it's like, I don't mean to trivialize anyone's work, but it's like, Mr. Ayer, it's just a movie.
Yeah.
It's just a movie.
And hey, at the end of the day, you can either be remembered as the guy that directed Suicide Squad or the guy that won't shut up whining about Suicide Squad.
Exactly.
Hey, Ostrander did not get a thank you.
No, not even.
Bruce Timm did, and the movie's already over, so I'm just going to rewind it for a second to see. I saw Bruce Timm's name. I saw Brian Azzarello's name, who wrote Joker, the guy that created Johnny Frost.
Yeah.
Carmine Infantino. Oh, wait.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, it's the
Okay.
very front. Okay,
Okay,
good.
I was
I was about to get pissed.
Oh, yeah. He put his name on a bank, but
John Byrne, Lee Bermeo.
Carmine Infantino. Cool. Well, that was a nice touch at least.
Although it was Kim Yale. Hold on, I'm gonna go back.
Wait a minute.
Because Kim Yale, as much as no, she wasn't.
Oh no.
Kim Yale was John Ostrander's wife. Wait, wife? I think. And she was instrumental in the Suicide Squad. And she was instrumental in Giannis Directive, which is a really cool crossover through a bunch of different of the what's the word, espionage books that DC did. And yeah, she married John Ostrander. Okay, phew.
You're right.
She was also instrumental in creating Oracle
Okay.
out of Barbara Gordon.
Yes.
Her paralyzing. So I fucking love Oracle. She was one of my favorite members of the Justice League, and I really liked the idea of a character whose paralyzation is the beginning of their story.
Right.
That was really cool to me. And taking this character who a lot of fans had kind of written off, and Oracle is still, Barbara Gordon is still erroneously looked at as an example of like a character being fridged. Because, they just fucking paralyzed Batgirl. Like, yeah. And then Kim Yale made her way more interesting.
Right.
Like, there's a million fucking characters with tights and capes, but how many superheroes are A, in a wheelchair, and B, like, in a wheelchair on the Justice League?
Exactly.
She was literally a Justice League member when Morrison was writing it. So, yeah, I really like what Kim Yale did for that character. So, anyway, we're fucking done. Suicide Squad's over.
Yay! Thank you. Yeah. So, a definite Vertigo for you. I can tell.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucking... I don't know if the fact that I like the comic so much impacts my thoughts on this movie, or if just the fact that I'm a fan of good filmmaking impacts it. So, because it just fails on every level.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, before I saw the movie, I've only read a few of the Suicide Squad comics. And the ones that I like, but, and no offense here, like, a lot of them really don't grab me. I don't think they're that good.
You need to read more then. So here's one of my problems with the early Suicide Squad issues, though, is the team was created out of a crossover called Legends. Mm-hmm. So the first probably 8 issues or so are all very tied in with other crossovers and shit. So
I have heard that there's
one of those like one of the issues I just read. Literally, as you're reading it, like they're gonna go off and do this thing, and then you turn the page, and it's like, see what happened in between that panel and this panel. Read Batman number whatever. I'm like, don't fucking do that. And so like that's just a result of DC trying to tie everything together. But issue number 9 is the one when Slipknot loses his arm. Which that is a big tie-in issue, but it's still the team is still pretty cool. But issue number 10 is the one where Batman sneaks into Bellrave, and that issue is fucking awesome.
Issue number 10. Okay.
It's that's like the turning point. It's got one of my favorite covers of all time too, of Batman up against a wall looking scared while Waller is up in his face. Like Waller is scaring the shit out of Batman. That's who Waller is.
That's a fantastic cover. Yeah, I think maybe that's why it didn't resonate with me, because you would flip the page and you would have to go read another comic, and I didn't have access to those comics, so I just get frustrated. But that's why, like, when I saw this movie the first time, I thought, oh, well, maybe this is just, like, strictly for the fans. Maybe there's something here I don't get. And then I watched it again, and I was like, nope, this is just a shitty movie.
Just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're done. We fucking talked about this movie enough. Go see the new one. because we will be talking about that one next time.
Yes, we will.
So, all right, I'm not going to do the whole sign out because we're going too long. So, goodbye.
Bye.